What is going on, guys? Torchy here. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for your support on the first tip video. We had some great questions and feedback, so keep the questions and topics coming so I can get to them in future videos. So before we get into today's topic, I want to go back to something I mentioned in the first video, and that was spray control. So one of my moderators from my stream, Cam, he mentioned that he had a tip that might help some of you guys control your spray a little bit better. In the last video, I mentioned that a good tip for spray control is just to pull down on your mouse. However, I wasn't really specific on how far you should be pulling down. At a certain point, generally speaking, you only need to pull down so far before your gun starts to sway left and right. Cam brought up a really good point with some crosshair settings that he has found that can help you adjust your spray. So if we go into the settings and look at the crosshair, what you want to do is actually scroll all the way down to the outer lines. And what we're going to do is turn up the outer line length to about 2 or 3, the thickness to about 2 or 3, and the offset all the way to 40. So take a moment real quick, try these settings out. You're going to want to turn off movement error, firing error, and keep the line opacity at max, in my opinion. But the ones that you really care about are the length, the thickness, and the offset. So what you're going to notice is that we now have 4 dots on the outer edge of the crosshair, and we're really only concerned with the top dot. What this is going to do is give you a slight indication on how far you need to pull down and the upper limit for your spray. So how do we use this new crosshair? What we're going to do is put our central crosshair on the target dummy's head, and we're going to pull down until the top dot upper limit of the new crosshair setting is in line with his head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to spray and pull down until the dot is lined up with his head. I'm not going to correct for the left and right randomization of the spray, and you'll see that we're going to hit the target still. As the gun sways left and right, we're still going to be hitting headshots. Let's take a look. So as you saw, I did not correct the gun left or right, but the gun itself was bouncing back and forth and we were still hitting headshots, and all I was doing was keeping the crosshair's upper limit tied to the target's head. So hopefully this crosshair setting helps you out. Definitely let us know in the comments below. Thanks again, Cam, for the tip. I think this is a really good one and will help a lot of people build that muscle memory, like I said, to understand exactly how you should be controlling your spray. So on to today's topic. In today's video, we're going to cover a mechanic that a lot of Counter-Strike players might be familiar with, and we're going to talk about crosshair placement. Pretty often, I've been seeing a lot of newer players running around the map with their crosshair kind of like this, and you might think that this is okay. However, this puts you at a huge disadvantage in a lot of your gunfights. Good crosshair placement is essentially where you keep your crosshair at head level as you're traversing the map. You don't want to be looking down. You don't want to be kind of like turning too much and looking up in the sky, whatever. You want to keep your crosshair about head level to where the enemy could be. So like I mentioned, good crosshair placement is where you have the crosshair pretty much at head level to where your opponent could be. So that way, if they peek you or you see them, there's very little adjustment that you have to do. Let's say you were running at your opponent with your gun kind of pointed towards the ground. The second you see this guy, now you have to adjust your crosshair, and you could possibly miss a line, or you might get the kill and flick to your target, but in that split second could mean the difference with you having maybe 80 health remaining and 10 health remaining. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we have the most health to take a second gunfight, or to make sure that we have enough health to support our team in case our healers are dead, unless you're playing Sage, of course. Basically, what I want you guys to try to do is stop looking at the ground and try to aim a little bit more at head level and play around on different maps so that you kind of get used to all of the angles that you need to be at. Obviously, you can see here that the head level of the dummy is a little bit lower. So I need to kind of put my crosshair a little bit lower. The more you play maps, the more you kind of see the routes that enemies can come from, the easier it'll be for you to remember exactly where to line up your shots. So that's pretty much it for today's video. We've covered a new tip for you guys and new crosshair settings that might help with your spray control, and we talked a little bit about good crosshair placement. In the next video, I think what I want to cover is some ways that you can improve on holding angles and how to clear out angles as well. Pretty important topic. Talks a little bit about movement, a little bit about crosshair placement. Definitely give these tips a try. Let me know if adjusting your crosshair helps you win gunfights more. And of course, definitely leave more questions and more topics in the comments below so that we can get to them in future videos. As always, like the video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below with stuff you want to see. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace. So before we get into, oh my god, cut, Rona, and I'm not going to correct left and right. The gun will, let's try it again, bro. You don't have to adjust. You don't have to do anything except just left click and shoot. Right? That was a horrible example. My shot didn't even go near this guy.